Hello, hello, Black women, and welcome back. Okay. Today, I want to talk to you guys about life interruptions, your expectations, and your identity. Who are you when stuff blows the hell up? Okay. Last Monday, so February 23rd, I believe, I noticed something on my son's skin that resulted in a ER visit, him being admitted to the hospital, and a major event in my life that I had been planning for years having to be rescheduled, okay? And 3, count them, 3 unplanned back surgeries. Amen. So, if you, my friend, has ever had your life interrupted just like that, quickly you will plan something and then plans go all the way out the window. I used to date this guy in high school and college, and he used to always say, "Man plan and ja laugh." And when I tell you God was laughing at me with my little plans, F your little plans, Rushni. That's what I put on the thumbnail, okay? And I have felt like that's how life goes down for me a lot. So if it's one thing that your girl has learned, breathing heavy on 50's neck, okay? We are 2 months out from my 50th birthday, is life does not negotiate with your little calendar, okay? Listen, you think you got something going, life is like, that's what you think. You thought, because I had plans last week. I had prepared for something very specific to be happening. Something huge actually was supposed to be happening last week, Thursday. And instead of that, my son was going into his first of 3 back surgeries, right? I had plans for the content I was going to put up for you guys. I had plans for my business. I had plans for my life, right? And life was like not so. So today I want to talk to you guys about who you are, who you are when life quakes. Yeah, when life quakes and when everything blows the F up. And I wanna offer you guys how to reframe your approach so that you don't come apart and it's from a more healed place. Yay, let's do it. Okay, so if you are new here, hello everybody. My name is Rushni, aka Glamazini out here on these internet streets. I am a certified life coach. I am also a content creator and I help Black women heal, amplify their gifts, and create lives that love them back. I am live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube today. If you are down for weekly videos on healing and creating a life that you love, especially realistically, like I'm living it in front of you guys. Subscribe to me on youtube.com/Glamazini. Hit follow and like on both any platform you're watching on. I really appreciate it. It gets the message out to other people. My throat's playing with me, but we'll go. Quick housekeeping. The next cohort of my Create Your Life virtual planning retreat starts on June 5th. You can learn more at bit.ly/virtual planning retreat or visit glamazini.com/coaching, the link on the screen and at the top of the information box. And you can scroll down and see how to find out more information. More on all of that later. More on all of that later. Hello, Tiffany. Hi, you guys. Happy Friday. Listen, time is a social construct. I don't even know what day I'm on. Hello, Marissa. Time is because when you go into a hospital, time doesn't exist, right? Cassandra said, lately, I'm a puddle of anxiety. I have an anxiety diagnosis, and hopefully, what I say can help a bit. Okay. What I'm sharing with you guys is things that I share with coaching clients, as well as things that help me in this life that I have when life is interrupted. So, today I want to talk about what you do, how you can look at life, quote unquote, interruptions. I explained to you why I'm calling them quote unquote interruptions and what you can do to survive this stuff. Because especially now, it seems like everybody's life is blowing the hell up, mine included. So let me give you this. Last month, the theme was creating your relationships. This month, the theme is all about creating your identity. To me, if you're new here, identity is the answer to the question, who am I? Right? Who am I? Matter of fact, I have workbook, a free Who Am I workbook that you can download. I'm gonna put it in the comment section as well as you can go to let's see, do I have an updated? I don't. Let me update this. Doo 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 doo. Give me 1 second. Save. I'll put it on the screen so you can see. You can download at glamazini.com and click on your gift. It's a free PDF. It helps you begin your identity work. If you have difficulty answering the question, "Who am I?" and all you can list to me is a bunch of roles you play in other people's lives, visit the link, download your free gift. Okay. It is one of the core tenets in my coaching. Why? Because I believe that if you cannot answer the question, "Who am I?" from a place of authenticity and a place of creation, then you are not living your own life. You are living somebody else's life. Okay. That's that. So I want to talk about, though, the answer of who am I as it pertains to navigating life interruptions, big life blowups, right? When life gives you a storm and when the storms are out of control, like they were for me this week. If you saw me on the internet this week, it was not okay. All right. I woke up on Monday last week and ended up sleeping in a hospital for an entire week on a chair, right? And then my son had 3, yeah, I can't even make this up, 3 unplanned back surgeries, 1 on Thursday, 1 on Sunday, 1 on Monday, right? So, Monday hits, let me tell you guys the big old thing so you can see that I'm not new to this, I'm true to this. If you're new here, I have a son, he has special needs. Yes? He's 13 years old. Cassandra, listen. You see my face? Anyway, I'm gonna give y'all the for everybody who's new. He's 13 years old, he is a wheelchair user. Yes? When I was pregnant with him, I made pregnancy vlogs on this channel on YouTube. I don't know if they're still, like, public facing, but people who have been here for a long time saw me pregnant with this child, right? On the 20-week ultrasound, I was given a myriad of horrible things and told to terminate my pregnancy. I decided not to. My son was born. They told me he was gonna live 3 days. He is still alive. He's 13. He's at the house. I'm about to go right back over there with him after this video. Amen. And through the years, you guys have, or maybe not, I'll just tell you, seen the huge interruptions that have come to my life through my son. Now, recently, the past few years, it's been a doozy. One of our goals this school year for him was no overnight hospital stays. Well, that's out the window. That's out the window. But the reason I had that goal is the past 3 school years, we have slept in the pediatric intensive care unit with my son and or the main hospital floor on those, beds and or chairs every single school year for a minimum of 3 nights. One year it was 3 nights, other school years it was 2 weeks. Yeah? One of the more chaotic things is in 2024 when my son had his, let's see, 2nd and 3rd back surgeries, he bled out on the table during the operation in September of 2024, almost died. They had to stop the surgery, have his back temporarily closed, and then we had to get his system up to a place where he could have the surgery again and then take him back into the same operating room he almost died in a week later. I forgot to say, the year before that in 2023, the school dropped my son off, yeah, with a broken femur. So that was 2023. Broken femur off the bus, like 60 something percent room air, oxygen level, the school. Okay. And then turned me every which way but loose about it. The next year he had to have back surgery, almost died on the table, bled out. I'm just telling y'all what a life I'm living, just in the space of my son. So you guys can see I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you. Okay. Had to take him back into the same surgery room a week later. 16 hours in the operating room. And then last Monday, February 23rd, I saw something on my son's skin. I burst out crying. Why? Because I knew it. I knew something was going to pop off. The anxiety, the PTSD. Okay. I waited. I contacted the doctor, took pictures, contacted the doctor, said, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And she said, "Oh no, bring him to the ER." I knew what they were going to do. I knew it. So We waited till the next day because it wasn't emergent. Like, he was chilling. My son was I mean, it was emergent in the sense of, like, not okay, but not like he was having an issue that moment, and I was like, "They about to get us again." They did. Took him to the ER on Tuesday, spent a week in the hospital, and my son ended up having, count them, 1, 2, 3 back surgeries. After the first and second surgery, my son's back was still open. So there's 3 surgeries where I have had a child come out of an operating room with a open back. And let me tell you something, if you've never experienced that, you don't want to. It's not hyperbole. I have pictures, okay? So when I tell you that I know what it's like for life to kick you in the face and laugh in your face when you say you think something about to go down and it's not about to go down, I'm not telling you a story, I'm telling you the truth, okay? I'm telling you this truth. So, now let me go to my notes. Why do we make plans as human beings? That's the first thing I want to talk about. We make plans because plans make us feel safe. It makes us feel like we have control over something. However, let me tell you a story. You don't have any control over anything. Take a deep breath. Everything happening around you, you have absolutely no control over it. If you think you have control, that's part of the problem. That's the first thing I would ask you to reframe. What's the reframe, Rushni? The reframe is you have influence and not control, right? I'm not telling you to give up. I'm telling you you have influence, right? Planning is actually extremely powerful. Planning, I love it, right? I have a whole virtual planning retreat called Create Your Life. Next cohort starts June 5th, okay? I am not anti planning. Matter of fact, I love a good plan. I love a good plan. Planning is how we create the things that we want to have in our life, how we influence the outcomes, how we aim ourselves in the directions of a life that we want to live. Yeah? But, sis, a lot of us think that we are controlling things, and if we plan everything out well enough, life is going to cooperate with us and do what we want it to do. Mhm. Life is gonna cooperate. I came in swinging because this gonna help somebody. Imma help somebody, okay? You and your cute little plan. Listen, I love a plan. I have a plan. December cohort ladies, our next co-working session is on Sunday, okay? We're gonna work our plan. I'm not telling you not to plan. I'm just telling you what to do when your plan blows the F up, okay? I'm not only a client, I am the president of this at this point. So I think I can help you guys. I actually did a video last time the surgery things happened. I think it was called Depression in Crisis, How to Handle Depression in Crisis. And on the thumbnail, it said, When the ish hit the fan. I kind of stole that thumbnail for this one. So it's a similar thumbnail with the same me looking over, right? Like, listen. So, first of all, a lot of us want life to cooperate with our plans 100%. And I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, life will not cooperate. So that's the first reframe. Life will not cooperate with your plan 100%. You do not have control, you have influence, right? Because if you think you have no control, you might not even do anything. You have influence over the direction it goes. You have influence over the direction, right? I'm gonna keep you have influence over the direction. Things happen in this lived life. People get sick, people have to go into emergency 3 surgeries. You lose things, you lose people, people lose homes, fires happen. Mental health crisis make you slow down and have to like totally change what you were doing. Financial setbacks, tornadoes. I've lived through a hurricane. I'm trying to tell y'all, I keep trying to tell God to take me off his strongest soldier list. Y'all, I've lived through a hurricane. 1989, the Hurricane Hugo blew the roof off of the house I was in, ninth grade, US Virgin Islands, and I had to run for my life. I've lived through a house fire, an apartment fire. I've sat down and thought I was gonna die with the black smoke coming in my apartment, trying to call my mom, hanging out the window, and had the fire department knock down the door and carry me out. Okay? Things happen. Also, y'all see what's going on out here in these streets with our political situation? Political upheaval happens. Yeah? Political upheaval happens. So, my point of view is if we don't have any expectations, dare I say, plan for plan for the interruptions in life, that is the biggest issue. If your plan doesn't plan for interruptions, that's not a good plan. That's not a good plan, right? And I'm gonna talk about this a little bit more because interruptions are not a glitch in your life. Interruptions are part of life, right? The old people that say keep living. The reason why they say that is if you haven't been hit by something, something's coming. Now, some of us have more than usual. I feel like I'm on the strongest soldier list. Some of us have more than usual. Matter of fact, I think that actually calling them interruptions is a misnomer, which is why you keep seeing me do the quote fingers on interruptions. Because I looked up the definition of interrupt, and interrupt means to stop the continuous progress of or to break the continuity of, right? I feel like the expectation that life is going to be continuous forward progress and continuity in one direction is the problem, right? Which is why I offer you the reframe. Yeah? There's an author named Bill Fuller, I think Feiler, and he coined the term lifequake. And a lifequake to him are ex um expected, heavy on the expected, as in I'm trying to tell you to expect things to interrupt your little plans. Expected major life transformations that happen to people round about 3 to 5 times per person, which is why I'm trying to say that I've had more than most. 3 to 5. 3 to 5? Y'all, I've had way more than 3 to 5, and I'm just breathing on 50's neck, okay? And he says that these things are characterized by a period of significant upheaval, transition, and renewal and last around 5 years. Meaning, if you have 3 to 5 life quakes in your life, let's say you have 5 life quakes in your life and you have, and they each last about 5 years, that's 25 years of quakes to expect. These events happen 3 to 5 times per person. They include things like career shifts, divorce, illness, etc. And they involve 3 phases: the long goodbye, the messy middle, the new beginning. There's a book, I just read the book. I forgot the name of the book. When I'm done, I'm going to go back and drop the book in the information box of this video where you can get more information on that whole concept of the long goodbye, when life quakes, when a transition happens, the messy middle, and the new beginning. Yeah? Okay. I thoroughly believe that expecting life to be smooth sailing all the time is the problem. If you came to this video and you wanted me to tell you how to make your life smooth sailing all the time, I don't have it. I don't know how to tell you that. I don't think that that's life. I That's a privilege. There are some people that can protect themselves in that way. Most of us can't, especially people in Black female bodies. I did an improv class many years ago, and one of the exercises we had to do was sit in a circle and talk about a trying time in our life. I don't remember how they phrased it, but each of us had to like tell a story about a difficult time in our life. And it was a very mixed group of people, ages, races, sexualities, the whole thing, and people went around, and I mean, there were so many varied stories, and all of them were heartbreaking and wrenching and all of these different stories, right? And then I remember after that, I used to go hang out at the improv place and just go to shows. And one of my classmates, who was one of the young white man, right? Like, there were other white men, but they were older. He was like the 20-something-year-old white man in the group. He walked over to me, he sat with me at the table, and we were kinda chopping it up, and he leaned over and he was like, "I was so moved by your story during the exercise." And I was like, "Thank you." And he said to me, you guys, "I realized during that exercise that I have lived an extremely privileged life. I have been hanging out with you guys for weeks in this class, and I really didn't have anything horrible happen to me in life, and you guys had been through so much." So unless you are living in a cloistered, privileged situation, We need to learn, Black women, to expect, unfortunately, that stuff might pop off. The interesting thing about being on a healing journey and choosing to create a more mature version of yourself is a lot of the stress that we experience when we are going through unplanned crisis is not necessarily the situation itself. It's the shock that we like the shock is what stresses us out. We think something's going wrong, right? And I know it sounds crazy coming out of the mouth of a woman who thought life was gonna go one way last week, and I ended up sleeping on a hospital chair, but y'all know I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. Trying to help you out, okay? You think something's going wrong, but the interruptions are not proof that your life is broken. The interruptions are proof that your life is happening. The interruptions are proof that your life is happening. Me having to go to the hospital last week, sleep in the hospital on a chair, have my son's back be temporarily closed on Thursday, have it be open all of Friday, back into surgery on Saturday, open again all of Saturday, all of Sunday, back into surgery on Monday. That's just proof that life is happening. I might it's not happening in your life, but it's happening in mine. And when I reframe, what I'm offering to you guys is recalibrate that thing, girl. Because I know y'all are like, "Rashni, how?" How you I took a shower. I might be a little oily because I put the prequel, stuff all over my face, and then I was like, "Girl, you gotta go do a video." I was slicked up. Okay, I was moisturized for the evening, right? You gotta recalibrate your brain to understand that healing includes adjusting your expectations, understanding that you aim in a direction, you influence the outcomes, you do not control them. You aim, you can create, you can plan, but you cannot control reality. I always tell you guys that life isn't about waiting for the waves to stop. Life is about learning how to surf. I spent so many of my younger years thinking that these waves that were crashing down on me, I'm talking about I got a black eye in a relationship in my past. I had a fire. I had a hurricane. A depression, just all of that. I'm not even going to go into the list because the list is long and ridiculous. Okay. My father passed away, the pandemic. I had to watch his funeral on the internet. I've been through it. And at some point, I was like, oh, this is all going to calm down. And then I'm going to get to life. So life was on pause, waiting for the waves to stop. And then one day I realized, wait a minute, the waves aren't stopping. Matter of fact, the older I got, the more I kept living, the bigger the waves was getting. Next thing I know, I got a son with special needs. I own multiple pediatric wheelchairs. I know how to spell myelomeningocele. I got a list. My son's has a list of medical specialists a mile long, right? I told you guys. I'm sure you guys heard it, but I told you before. I'm gonna tell you again. This is an apartment. This is not my house. So I was fighting for my life there too. I'm about to leave this place and go over to the house that does not have the adjustable bed. And my back's on fire, okay? Because 'Cause I'm almost 50. My back's on fire because I need to be over there with the kid, right? And one day I was like, "Oh, okay, I have to learn how to get up on top of these things and ride them out." It's not about waiting for the waves to stop. Matter of fact, if you are spending your life waiting for the waves to stop, boo boo, I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you this, but the earlier you learn this, the more enjoyable the ride is going to be. The waves aren't going to stop forever. You're going to have calm seasons. Build the muscle of surfing in those seasons. And when the wave comes, run into that bitch and ride it. Because Cassandra said, I had a plan and two backups and nothing worked. And all is well. Because in that instance, you had a plan and 2 backups and nothing worked, but in the next instance, the plan might work. The plan might not always work, but never knock having a plan. If you want something that's over there, throw your life in that direction. If you have no plan and you're chucking things over there, you're never gonna get to the thing over there. But if you have a plan and you throw in that direction, at least you're moving in the vicinity of the thing, right? I used to pride myself on having no plans. It did not turn out well for me. Don't do that. Shoulder says, I joke. Shoulder says, I recently became a caretaker for both my parents. I don't think I could ever imagine including this in my plan. Let me tell y'all something. Okay. People in our age, in that middle, beware because we end up taking care up and down. We end up taking care in this direction and that direction. And that is an experience that I know several. I was just talking to somebody else who has the same sandwich experience going on, right? Tasha said, "This explains so much. I'm struggling to get to the point of perpetual ease, realizing I'm trying to get to an unattainable place. The ease is inside. You're never going to get to an external place of perpetual ease. You will get to ease on the inside and bring the ease with you where you go." I had ease in the hospital. I was chilling. We was kicking it. Okay. There was one guy, he was new to the floor and he didn't know how to get in. And he was looking at me like, "Why are you so jipper?" I wasn't necessarily jipper, but I knew that I knew how to do it at an optimal place. And I brought the ease with me. It doesn't mean that I was perfect, Tasha. It doesn't mean that I was happy to be in the hospital. Obviously, I wanted to be at home. Nobody wants to be sleeping on a chair, not showering. And knowing that your son is potentially gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody, girl, you bring that's what I'm saying. The older I get, the more I realize the inside job, which is why I want to talk, which is why I call this video When Life Gets Interrupted. Who are you? Because I need you to bring you with you. Therefore, the ease is always with you. The peace is in you. Okay. And when I tell you it's taken me years to figure that thing out, and sometimes I shock myself about how much calm and how much I can recalibrate myself and recenter myself. And I really work I've done all these years to bring me with me, right? So identity, which is what I want to talk to you guys about, the answer to the question, who am I? In a crisis, I believe your identity becomes much more crystal clear and compressed, right? I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. Identity is not the roles that you play in other people's lives. Although, typically, if I ask a Black woman who she is, she's going to rattle off a bunch of roles she plays in other people's life. She's going to tell me she's a mother, she's a sister, she's a caregiver, she's a leader, she's a pastor, she's a Delta, she's a partner, she's a wife, she's a this, she's a that, she's a. And listen, none of that is wrong. Matter of fact, those things are wonderful. I actually call them reflective identity. I don't know if that's a real thing. That's something I made up. Reflective identity, the roles you play in other people's lives, right? But those are roles. Those are what you do. That's what you do. That's not who you are, at least to me. Those are roles. That's what you do. Identity to me is deeper than that. Identity is the person you are before the roles, right? It's your values, it's your temperament, it's your interests, it's the way you show up in the world, it's your character, innate or chosen, because I believe that you can adjust and create who you are. If you see something in yourself and you don't want it to be that way, I believe that you are malleable and you can create something different. I believe there's a default that you land on, but you can switch it if you want to, right? That to me is identity. Are you curious? Are you compassionate? Are you kind? Are you ornery? Are you anxious? Are you a giver? Those sorts, are you humorous, right? And then a role is something like, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a coworker, all the things that people can answer. A lot of times, I've said this to you guys in the past, Black women are often taught, trained. I like to use the word trained so it could really hit us in the gut. We are trained to only identify ourselves as the roles we play in other people's lives. That is on purpose. And many of us make it into our 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and the whole life and can never tell you who you are beyond a role you play in somebody else's life. I don't want that for you. I see it all around. So what I meant about your identity becoming crispy clear and and compressed in a crisis is when your life gets interrupted by something. When your life is quaking and shaking all over the place, all the noise in your life will fall away. I put up a video recently walking down the hall in the hospital saying, when you come into the hospital, time stands still. Nothing else matters. It didn't matter that I had a meeting that I had been preparing for years, scheduled last Thursday. That had to stop. It didn't matter that we had had 4 IEP revisions and we were about to start my son back into all-day school. Finally, after a school year, and that had to stop. It didn't matter that I was supposed to go to the store on Tuesday and get some groceries because they had no food in this apartment. Had to stop. Didn't matter that I hadn't showered. Who needs to shower when your kid's on an operating table? Didn't matter that I washed my hair, put my hair in some raggedy plaits and said I was gonna do something to my hair, ended up at the hospital and was at the hospital for a week plus with the raggedy plaits. Didn't matter. Didn't matter, right? All the noise falls away. Everything you thought was urgent on the outside of the crisis goes away and don't matter to you. Your calendar gone, your appointment's gone, you need to do this, that, this person annoying you, all of that goes away and your plans are instantly rearranged, right? Your world narrows right in front of your eyes. And a lot of the roles that you are playing in other people's lives get reallocated real quick. Okay? Now, listen, pro tip for anybody who's ever gone through a crisis, if you want to do some advanced work, when the ish hits the fan and your life gets interrupted by something, a huge wave, that is a wonderful opportunity for you to clock what is actually priority in your life. Like if you know how to work this thing, pay attention to what you care about and what you don't care about. That'll tell you right then. It'll tell you what's priority and it'll tell you what's not. It'll tell you who's priority, it'll tell you who's not. If you're ever unclear, use those moments to get really crystal clear on that, right? And the you that shows up in those moments is not a brand new version of you. Dare I tell you, it's the core you. That's you. My pastor, God rest his soul, had done a really great sermon one year, years ago. And basically, he was talking about what's on the inside comes out when you apply pressure. And I remember he said something along the lines of, you can squeeze something, you can paint something on the outside to be the color orange, but if it's a lemon and I squeeze it, lemon juice is going to come out. That's you. Your identity comes out under pressure, which is why I call this video When Life Gets Interrupted. Who are you? Because that's going to help you, right? That's going to help you because remember I told you bring you into the situation and that's half the battle, right? Your identity is in you. If you are a compassionate person, compassion's going to show up in the crisis. You're going to be compassionate to the people along the way. If you're a strong person, strength is going to show up in the crisis. If you're a humorous person, humor is going to show up. If you're a joyous person, joy is going to show up. If you're a discerning person, discernment's going to show up. If you're a mature person, maturity is going to show up. If you're a peaceful person, peace is going to show up. Like we said here, if you're an easeful person, ease is going to show up in the crisis. If resilience is going to show up. If you're a loving person, love's going to show up. But guess what? Guess what, boo boo? If you are a selfish person, selfishness is going to show up. If you're an unstable person, instability and chaos is going to show up. Help us, God. If you're a saddie like me, if you're depressed, depression is going to show up. It's going to try. It's going to try it. It tried it. It didn't get me, but it tried it. Okay. If you're an anxious person, anxiety is going to show up. Why are we shocked? If you're rude, rudeness gonna show up. If you are 100%, USDA grade A cut pure agent of chaos. Guess what's going to show up in the mess? You and your chaos. And that's why answering the question of who you are is so important when stuff is popping off, because the roles you play in life are going to shift in the life transitions. The roles are just expressions of who you already are. The caregiver, I'm an advocate, you're going to be a decision maker, you a supporter, a support system. All of these things shift and move around. Your plan's going to change, your role's going to change, the schedule's going to collapse and blow up. You got to learn how to pivot. But the person who you are, that person's not going to disappear. Matter of fact, the crisis is going to amplify her. So when the waves are calmer, you get to choose who is going to be amplified. Who are you? Who are you? Yeah. This is good or bad depending on the work that you've actually done to establish your identity, to anchor yourself to something internal so that you bring who you are with you along the journey. Be who you are, practice who you are when the waves are still. So when the waves are crashing, you're amplified, you're magnified, but you're still you. And this knowing, you guys, has been so grounding for me, and I hope that it's grounding for you because it takes the onus for how you experience life interruptions and life transitions off of external factors, and you know you good no matter what because you're bringing you with you. And you're funny, you're humorous, you're compassionate, you're peaceful. You know how to you know how to regulate yourself. So it don't matter what pop off, you're here. You don't gotta wait for something external. Yeah? Who you are, your identity is not necessarily dependent on everything that's going on around you and everything going according to plan. And for me, that's good news. It's just part of who you show up as in your life, whether life is smooth or whether life is turned all the way upside down. And honestly, it's a choice. I know y'all hate me for saying that. I used to hate when people said it was a choice back in the day. Hate it. Young me hated people saying it's a choice. Hated it because I felt like so many things were outside of my choice. And obviously, as a woman who spends a lot of time in ERs and operating waiting rooms and all of this with a child, I'm not saying that that's a choice, but I'm saying how I experience who I am when life blows up, I get to choose it. I just do. I just do. Give me a second, you guys. My nose is running. Give me a second. Okay, let me look at I'm not looking at myself. Let me make sure I don't have anything on my nose while I'm talking to you guys. Now, let's talk a little bit more about the idea of expectations, okay? Because this is very nuanced. And as a woman who has multiple major depressive disorder diagnoses and anxiety diagnoses, PTSD, I never want anybody to leave a video with me thinking that I'm telling them not to have any expectations. Okay. If you want to heal as a Black woman, you have to learn that expectations are half the battle. But this is so nuanced that I'm going to spend a little bit of time explaining this. So hopefully you get what I mean. I am in no way saying do not have any expectations because a life without hope goes straight to despair and depression. I've done it. Don't do it. 0 stars on Yelp. Do not recommend. Okay. Don't do that. I'm saying we have influence over where our life goes and not control. A whole hell a lot of stress that we experience in our lives, especially in crisis situations, is because of the shock of the plan blowing up in our face. We thought this was going to be happening. It's not happening. We unravel. But my audience, I'm going to say this with to you guys. I love you guys. I really do. And this is why I do these videos. I say this with love. It's going to sound a little, but just rock with me. My audience is square 30s, 40s, 50s, and beyond. Okay? And beyond. We've been out here living. We kept living like the old people said. We know this thing ain't stable. Stuff gonna quake. Stuff's gonna shake. Life's gonna shake, rattle, and roll. So my question is, why are we so shocked? And I ask that question as a person who can be just as shocked as you. I keep going like this because I feel like something's on my face. I don't know what it is. So if you see me wiping, I apologize, but that's why. I put so much product, something probably is stuck on my face and it's just hanging out in the prequel product. Why are we so shocked when this shit blows up? I'm sorry. I'm joking, but I'm not. If you're surfing, there will be waves. We're not new to this. We are not teenagers. We are not in our 20s. We are not in this space of like, I'm not saying all of us didn't get this message that life just has this perfect little way that it goes. But at this point where we are, we've been out here. Okay. We've been out here. And if you still think that something's wrong with you and something's wrong with your specific life, when the waves come, I'm going to say this with all the love. Sis, surf. Get up, girl. Get up on that wave. Okay. Matter of fact, go get a cute bathing suit, buff your surfboard, jump up on your unique wave, and surf the hell out that thing. Your life is not broken. Your life is not in shambles. You are not in shambles. Your life is happening. What you're experiencing is a life that's happening. Participate in that thing. Fight back. Fight back. Get up on that surfboard. Okay. To heal, we have to adjust our expectations. To heal, we must, Black women, adjust our expectations. I'm not saying that you don't grieve. Go ahead and grieve. I'm not saying that you don't rest. Absolutely. Please rest. I'm not saying that you don't even admit that it's happening. Please do. I am not here for toxic positivity and bypassing. Feel your feelings. Cuss, stomp, cry, all of it. Get the support. Talk to your therapist. Do what you need to, and then get up. Adjust the expectation, aim in a direction, create something different, adjust the plan. Don't trash the plan. Just tweak the plan. Tweak the plan. Cassandra said up here she had 2 backups. Get another backup, girl. Back up the backup. Keep going. That's the beauty of Black women. We are the genesis of creation. We create. It's in you. Call on something innate until you trust that it's in you. It's in there. If it's in me, it's in you. Because as many times as the life I'm living has tried to knock me right off, and I refuse. Okay, I'm gonna keep springing back up like one of them little Russian dollar. Boop, boop. She right here. Okay. To heal, we have to adjust our expectations. Make your plans. Create your things. Aim in a direction. You have influence. You do not have control. You have influence. You do not have control. Activate, participate in, use your influence to aim in a direction, but you may not have control. Does it look like what you thought it was going to look like? No, but it looks like something close to it. Kind of. You see what I'm saying? Interruptions in your life are not the end of the story. They are the story. They're part of the story. The interruptions are the story. This is the life. Life is in seasons. Life has detours. Life has pivots. Life has chapters. The goal is not to avoid interruptions or wait for them to stop. The goal is to adapt, get up on that wave and keep going. You still get to create your life. Shift your expectation from everything being a continuous straight line. And if something happens, it's all lost. It's all lost. It's all lost. And I'm saying that because that's how I used to think. Life is happening in chapters. Create a new chapter, right? Bake into your expectations the idea that quakes are going to come. Grieve the fact that you may have thought that that was not the case in the past, and your heart is broken for how much time you spent thinking that life was going to be linear and something was wrong with you. Let yourself feel everything. Do something somatic to get it out of your system. Go dance, go punch something, go shake, do cartwheels. Girl, I don't know. And then get up, strengthen your surf muscles, decide who you will be. Who are you? Still water or waves? Who are you? And then be her. Create her. Amen. Because you can. And you know how I know this to be true? Because I could not be going through you guys are watching me do stuff in real time. I know some of y'all are like, "Ain't no actual way all this stuff happening in Rushni life." Yes. And sometimes I'm like, last week, one of my okay, so I told y'all there was something in the books that was supposed to be happening last Thursday. Big deal. Big, big deal. Been waiting on it for years, prepping on it for years. Do you hear me? That last Thursday, I was sat in a hospital OR waiting room because my son had one of three back surgeries. Life said, girl, that's not happening. My friend turned to me and goes, what are the chances that that would happen? And I said, girl, you've been here with me for a cool minute. You know that what are the chances are it's happening to me. And yet and still, I still purport to you that baking into your mindset that it's not always going to be steady footing in this thing, but you still get to create something out of nothing, right? You still get to create something. Tasha says, I need to pull back and see that the scatter plot is still going in the right direction. It's just not linear. Exactly. The expectation that it's linear is part of what's causing the most distress. And I'm not saying that you're wrong in expecting that. Many of us are given this like beautiful outcome, straight line thing. You check the boxes and everything works in your favor. And part of the grief of being a Black woman healing is understanding that the story that you was handed is not happening. It's almost like it doesn't happen for anybody before us. They hope it's gonna happen for us. They hand us the story and say, "I hope it happens for you." And then the cycle continues. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news or good news, depending on how you look at it, but a healed life is not a straight linear life. Look at it like chapters, Tasha. You know how you read a book and the book, whoo, this chapter, whoo, and then the next chapter is like some beautiful thing, and then the next chapter they I mean, that sounds crazy, but literally. So the other thing besides reframing your and recalibrating your idea of your relationship with expectations, right, is learning to trust yourself. Identity is a superpower when you are healing. Okay. Everybody turn to me to in the book of New Edition, amen, chapter 1988. And the songwriter says, on a perfect day, I know I can count on you. Who is that? Hmm? When that's not possible, tell me, can you weather the storm? Because I need somebody who will stand by me. Sing with me, everybody. Through the good times and the bad times, she will always be right there for me. Sunny days, everybody loves them. But boo boo, can you stand the rain? Storms will come. Hey, I felt that one. Storms will come. This new edition knew for sure. The question I ask you in this video is, can you stand the rain? Who are you? You got to learn to stand the life is going to have rain. Growth necessitates rain. Growth necessitates rain. Growth necessitates fertilizer. The book of New Edition, chapter 1988. Okay. I grew up singing that. Can you stand the rain? You have to decide who you are so that when the storm comes, you got something to stand on. You have something to bring in the storm. I have unraveled in many a life situation. I've unraveled. Younger versions of me have tried this thing coming asunder at the seams. I don't like it. Okay. I have a depression diagnosis. So I had to decide that somebody else may have a baseline that they can work with in certain situations, and that's how they want to show up and they're fine. I got to do a little bit more. So the way that I decided, Rushni me, Rushni, I'm a curious, humorous, loving, support, community-minded type of woman, I'm gonna go through life crises being curious, community-minded, communicative, speaking up, asking for support, joyous, laughing. That's how I show up. That's how I stand the rain. Who are you? Right? You gotta start to learn to trust and lean on your identity. Who are you to stand rain? You gotta learn how to trust yourself more. Practice it in low stakes things in your life. Don't wait until you in the ER, in the operating room, waiting room to try to practice who you are, to try to practice being peaceful and easeful. You can't do it. You can't do it then. The ease is on the inside. I need you to practice being easeful when somebody gets your order wrong at the coffee shop. Who are you? I need you to practice being easeful when your mama say that sideways thing, your auntie say that reckless sideways thing you've asked her to stop saying at the family gathering. Can you practice then? I need to practice You need to practice being easeful when you lose your glass chain once again, you can't find it, and instead of tearing up the spot and kicking the dog and upsetting everybody in the space, you just go buy another one. You can't bring something with you if it's not in you. You gotta practice it when it's low stakes. That's why I said, if you're compassionate, compassion is gonna come with you when you sitting in the hospital operating room, when you sitting in the middle of the storm. But if you're ornery, okay, you gotta learn to stand the rain. When you expect the interruptions of life, you stop panicking when they arrive. Instead of thinking, "Oh my god, everything's ruined. My life is so horrible. Everybody else has such a good thing. I'm like, blah, blah." I'm not saying that's bad. Listen, I'm when you all hear me make those voices, that's me. I'm telling y'all what was going on 10, 20 years ago in my head. Instead of thinking, "Oh, all is lost. This is all a mess. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with me?" You start thinking things like, "Okay, I guess what do I need to do with this right now? I've done this before. I can do it again." I guess I've never done this before, but I could figure it out. Let me tell y'all something. In 2024, when my son almost died on the operating table and they had to rush him out of the thing and have his back open for thing, I remember calling my mother on the phone to tell my mother what had happened. And my mother said to me, "Rushni, we've done this before." And she reminded me because my son was born with his back wide open. He spent 5 weeks in the NICU. And I took a kid home who was wearing diapers with a open back. I took a kid home with an open back, and it took 4.5 months for my son's back to close. When my mother said, "You've done this before," something in my brain was like, "You've done it before." So guess what? Last week after the first surgery, they sent him out into the room, back open. I'd done it before. I trusted myself. Who am I? I am the mother of a son with special needs who has had multiple back surgeries, and I've done this before. I trusted Reshni. So instead of going full panic, I'm not saying I didn't panic. The panic was there, but that's where the support systems and the self-soothing and the regulation techniques and the somatic things and all the things that I tell you guys about, that's where that comes in. Also, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. Okay. I've done it before. I did not think, "Oh, all is lost." I thought that for a little bit because I was like, "Oh man, I was really looking forward to next last Thursday's meeting. It didn't get to happen. Are you freaking kidding me? The timing, are you kidding me?" And then I was like, "Well, what do I need to do now? Where is my surfboard?" Okay. You start to trust yourself from the inside. You bring you with you. You bring competent you with you. You bring regulating you with you. I'm not saying you start regulated. You might dysregulate, but you can self-soothe at some point. You bring the person who has the capacity to solve problems with you. You bring her into the storm. You adapt, you adjust. You solve things. You try things. You laugh at the days to come. Okay, like Proverbs 31 say. You laugh at the days to come. Why would a woman be able to laugh at the days to come if she did not know that whatever was coming, she could laugh at it? I'm at the laugh at the days to come part of my chapters. And I wish that for every single one of you guys. When you start to trust who you are in those problematic parts of life, you consistently show up as you. No matter whether the plans work or the plans don't work, you show up as you and you trust your ability to navigate whatever season comes to you that day. You open your eyes, you say, "What's up? What we about to get today?" Some days you get sunshine, you're sitting outside, you revel in that's the other thing, you guys. When the day goes beautifully, sit in that thing. It's like recharging. I don't care if it's the sunlight coming into your car window. Stop rushing past the beautiful days and hyperfixating on the chaos. You gotta fuel up. Stop and go get the ice cream. Take a walk with your friend. Binge watch funny videos. Sit in that thing. Put on your favorite cozy little thing and walk around your house in your pajamas. You know what I mean? You gotta fuel up and sit in there. No matter whether plans work, plans don't work, what the day holds, you know you're showing up with your surfboard, right? So when life is interrupted, when your plans have to change, nothing about that is considered a failure. I want you to reframe it. That's called life. The goal is not to control every outcome. The goal is not to get everything that you think you want to have happen today to happen today, or else you are a failure. The goal is to become someone, to become her, to create her, to have an identity as someone who moves through life knowing who she is with clarity, adaptability, and trust that when she show up, she's showing up with herself. Aim yourself in that direction, right? Create something beautiful. Again, I'm sitting here breathing at 50. Did I let listen, if somebody had said, "This is 50, this is where you're gonna be," I would have been like, "Ain't no way." Also, I open my eyes, I make it do what it do. I pivot, I adjust, and I keep creating, and I keep creating, and you can too. Amen. Amen, ladies. My next cohort of the Create Your Life Virtual Planning Retreat starts on the 5th of June. The planning retreat is my answer to helping people, one, have a group environment where they can coach with me. I kind of absorbed my group coaching into the planning retreat. And so it starts out with you answering the question, who am I? If I'm being honest, the whole planning retreat starts with you doing identity work because I will never have a Black woman sit in front of me and create a life that's not her own. We got to go down to the basement of this thing and start at the foundation. Who are you? Who are you creating? Who do you want to become in the next chapter and season of your life? And then after a week of self-paced modules, videos, etc., you come out of that thing with a plan, right? And then guess what happens? After you do the planning retreat, the June cohort, we meet monthly. We have monthly accountability calls where I group coach with you and you work the plan. And me and the other ladies doing it hold you accountable, right? It's a good time. The December cohort has been meeting. Let's see. Our next December, our next co-working call is this coming Sunday. So I guess that would be the 8th. And then our next accountability call is the following Sunday, which I think is the 15th. Um, and so if you are interested in joining, either visit bit.ly/virtual planning retreat, or let me put that back on here. Or if you just go to glamazini.com and click on coaching or create your life, that is how you can find more information and you can join us in the June cohort. I would absolutely love to have you. Let's see. Giggle says, "Yep, you ain't lying because tend to hyper focus on horrible things that we've gone through." This is the thing about life. As a person who has a depression diagnosis, I understand hyper focusing on it. I understand it from a neurological standpoint. I understand it from a lived experience standpoint. We focus on those things because we believe that we are innately designed to try to avoid them, right? Hand on hot stove hurt, everything that looks like a stove could burn. It's a way to keep yourself out of harm's way. It's natural, it's normal, it's working at as intended. The unfortunate thing, though, is your body experiencing multiple traumas, whether or not it's a hot stove or a girl, I don't know, a bad relationship or a hospital visit, an emergent hospital visit that you didn't expect, and multiple surgeries. Your body still is responding to try to keep you safe. We will hyper focus on those things. But even flowers grow through the cracks in the sidewalk. You know, what do people call them? You know how people call things triggers? Triggers are like triggers that trigger your anxiety, trigger your trauma. There's a counter word for it, and I think people call them shimmers? Is it shimmers? Where you're looking for the sparkles of light in life. And let me tell you something, as a person with a depression diagnosis multiple times over, you have to do that or else you will lose your mind. If life keeps kicking you in the face and you don't look for the light, you gotta look for the light. That's why my Facebook group was called Find Your Light. My name, Roshni, means light. It means light that illuminates darkness, removes darkness. Look for the light. Stop and enjoy all the small things so that you have something on the inside of you to tell you that life is beautiful. Yeah, I'm sitting here with a strawberry shortcake shirt on because I'm a giant child. Okay. I bought this from the Goodwill because look how pretty it is. All of those small things add up. I always say in my coaching, never knock small things you haven't tried. The thing about the small things is if you do a whole bunch of small things, those small things all become your life. Don't ever listen to some miserable person telling you not to do the small things that add sparkles, shimmers, and joy into your life because you don't want what they have anyway. Anyway, I don't know how I got over here because Giggles was telling me that. Anyway, you guys, be well, be encouraged. Continue to pray for my son. He is still healing from 3 back surgeries. This particular time is a lot better than the last time. However, we're still not out of the full woods yet because he still has full surgery wounds that need to close, and my son's surgery wounds had not fully closed since the last time. Like, they were closed, but we were dealing with pressure sores, and if you're a person in this world, you understand. So, we're not out of the woods. All prayers are welcome, okay? And remember, when life blows the hell up, who are you? You gotta anchor to something, and you gotta bring her with you. Be well, you guys. Be encouraged. I'm headed back to the house to be with the kid. Here's a pineapple.